Okay, so now that we're doing the second parts of the mole, we looked at the gram formula mass, how to figure that out. That's just simply taking the formula for whatever compound you're looking at, breaking it apart to the individual atoms, figuring out how much each atom weighs, or the mass, sorry, not weighs, but the mass of each, adding them together to get the total gram formula mass of that formula or the molecule. So taking it a step further, we're going to have molecular relationships. So this is where you have MVP. Here's that gram formula mass, goes back and forth. And then you have particles, the P part. And then you have the volume, MVP. Now things you got to memorize. Volume, there are 22.4 liters per mole. Got to memorize that. Avogadro's number, 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. Gotta memorize that. That goes to particles. It's that word is interchangeable between units, molecules, or atoms. You can interchange any of them. Okay? Volume, you're gonna see dm cubed, liter at STP. And again, STP, standard temperature, pressure. Standard temperature 0 degrees Celsius. Pressure is 1 atm or atmosphere. One thing you gotta realize is when you are going out from the mole out, it is going to be multiplying. If I'm coming back into the mole, it is going to be dividing. Okay? All right. So we're gonna hop over to some chemical problem solving. What do? This is for like normal word problems. First thing you got to do, read the problem. Got to understand the problem. I know it's easier said than done, but that's the first step. Another step that you have to do, you have to identify the unknown, what they want you to know, or they want you to figure out, and then what is given to you. You then got to set up the problem. You got to figure out what equation you got to use, determine the pertinent information that you need, and the pathway you're going to choose to get to your answer. All right, you got to solve the problem using the data that is given and the appropriate relationships equations to work through the problem to get your answer. And then finally, after you get your answer, you want to check your work. Not just the mathematical functions, but ask if this answers the question, answer what it's looking for. And sometimes you got multiple steps, so you got to make sure it's answering each part of the step, like you follow it all the way through. Okay, so we've got an example. 1-step questions. How many carbon atoms and 0.5 moles of carbon? So if you remember MVP to the mole, because the mole is your MVP, the most valuable player. So moles go in the middle, MVP goes around. All right, so if I have moles, if I'm given moles, and they want to know how many atoms, remember, particles interchangeable between units, molecules, and particles. So, and atoms. So what do? I put my given down. My given is moles of carbon. What I want is atoms of carbon. How do I get there? MVP to the mole. If I'm going from the mole out, I'm going to multiply. What I mean by that is, for every 1 mole, there is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms. I got to get rid of that mole. In math, how do you do that? Well, you times it by the denominator, or put what you want to get rid of in the denominator, what you want in the numerator. Pardon me. And to do this, I'm going to put the mole on the bottom. So here's my mole here. Here's my mole. They cancel out, leaving me with the atom. So basically, I need to times half a mole, or a half, times 6.02. Why Why am I ignoring the 10 to the 23rd? This number right here is so small compared to this number. I've written it out. It's very, very big. And I don't want to write it out again. So just trust me, it is very, very big. So I don't have to worry about this 10 to the 23rd. I can keep that to the side. So half of 6.02 is 3.01. So 3.01 times 10 to the 23rd atoms of carbon. All right. Now let's look at the next one. What is the mass in grams of 3.0 moles of H2SO4? Okay, so this is where this gram formula mass is coming in. Gram molecular mass. What do you have to do? You have to take the amount of numbers times it by the weight or the mass of the numbers. So 2 times 1. 1 times 32. 4 times 16 to give you 98.1 grams or 98 grams of H2SO4. Sulfuric acid. All right, so 3 moles. I got to get out of the moles. How do I do that? Well, I got to put moles on the bottom. 1 mole is worth or weighs 98 grams. So I put 1 mole on the bottom, cross out my moles, and I'm left with grams. So 3 times 98 gives me 290 grams of sulfuric acid. Okay. What's another way to do this? I gotta go for 2 steps. So I'm going from one of the outers. So in this case, I'm going from liters and I gotta go to molecules. So liters to moles, moles to molecules. All right. So it's a 2-step. If I'm going 2 different areas, it's a 2-step. So how many dinitrogen trioxide molecules are in 5.6 liters at STP? Just standard room temperature. Okay? So the molecule is the basic unit of N2O3. How do I know that? Dinitrogen, there's 2 nitrogens. Trioxide, there's 3 oxygens. Okay, so I know I start with the liters, 5.6 liters of dinitrogen trioxide. I got to get rid of the liters. How do I do that? Remember, 22.4 is one of the ones you got to memorize. It's volume. Put the liters on the bottom with the molecules up top, because 22.4 liters per mole, or 1 mole is 20 per 22.4 liters. So I can cancel those out. And then I'm going from moles to molecules. Again, I got to get rid of the moles. So I'm going to put the mole on the bottom. Those cancel out and I'm left with molecules. Multiplying this out, typically I like to do little chunks. Like I find out how much this is. This I think is 25.25% of this. Times it by this, you get 1.5 times 10 to the 23rd molecules. Okay? You probably will need a calculator unless it's easy for you to do the little mental math. Okay, so what is the mass of 1.51 times 10 to the 24th or 15.1 times 10 to the 23rd molecules of water? So I start with the molecules and I'm going to go to grams, which means I've got to go from molecule to mole, mole to gram using the gram formula mass. All right, so I'm starting with the molecules, 15.1 times 10 to the 23rd. Got to get rid of the molecules, so molecules go on the bottom. 6.02 times 1, or over, well, 1 mole is over 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. I'm left with moles. I got to get from moles to grams, so I got to do my gram formula mass. There are 2 hydrogens, so I don't know why that's a mistake. 2 moles, so 2 times 1, there's 2. 1 times 16 is 16. 16 plus 2 is 18 grams of water per 1 mole. Moles cancel out. I'm left with 18 grams. 15.1 times 10 to the 23rd. That is, I want to say, it's going to divide by 16.01. That is 2.5. 2.5 times 18 gives you 45.1 grams of H2O water. All right. Another two-step. Going from atoms to molecules. Again, you're going from molecule to atom, molecule to mole, mole to atom. Again, the setup, moles cancel out. Units, units are moles. Units to atoms, atoms are the same thing. And this is what you get. We're actually not even going to worry about that. So how many molecules are in 7.5 mole of carbon dioxide? Again, CO2, mole to molecule, get rid of the mole, 6.02 gives you 4.5, 1 times 10 to the 23rd. All right, let's look at mass to moles. Gram formula mass of water is 18 grams. Again, you're multiplying by the amount of the elements times by their mass. I'm going from moles to mass. 1 mole on the bottom. Mass is 18 grams. I should get 34.2 grams of water. All right, moles into liters. Again, I've got my liters. I'm given liters. I got to get to moles. So liters is going to be on the bottom, 22.4. 1 mole over it. Should get 2.5 moles of oxygen. All right, what is the volume of 40 grams of sulfur trioxide? I'm going from volume to mole, mole to gram. It's a two-step. I got to get my gram formula mass. So there's my grams. This is half. Half times 22.4. I should get 11.2 liters of S2O3. All right. Molecules of liters. I'm starting with liters. Liters into 2.4. I think that is 0.5, 0.25, or 0.75. Should give you this 10.5 times 10 to the 24th. Okay, mass from molecules. I've got, because I'm doing mass, gram formula mass, figure out it's 44 grams. 12 times 10 to the 23rd divided by 16.3. That's half. Half of 44 should give you, or half of this. It's 2 times, 12. That's 2 times 44, 88. Okay, going from atoms, you should get this as your answer. All right. Final, last but not least, please finish up your travelogue. You're going to work on the molar conversion worksheets for the homework check. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Besides that, I hope you guys have a great day.